Hi, first graders. I was coming on here to show you what you need to do for your new at-home learning starting tomorrow, which is Monday. All right, so first you got a new fluency folder. I gave you this on Friday. All right, and inside I showed you a few things, and I'm going to show you them again. You also got a note in there for your parents. All right, and make sure they read through this so they know what you're supposed to be doing. All right, here's the first thing. So when you get on the seesaw, this is going to be your new schedule. All right, and you're going to follow the arrows. And if you want to do them out of order, that's okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about, number one, is the fluency folder that was sent home. Okay, so in your fluency folder, it says that you're going to practice your fry words, your fry phrases, your fluency passage, and one comprehension paper. And you're going to do one of those a day every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm going to show you those first. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get out your pink papers. And on here is a note for your parents of what to do with these words, okay? So the first thing, these are the words that you need to learn how to read. Some of them you'll already know. Some of them you might not know. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the first list number one, and you're going to read them to somebody at home, okay? So if I was doing this, I would say the, of, and, to, in, is. And if I know these words, then I'm going to put a little check next to them. So if I could read the word the, then I am going to get something to write with here. Let's see if I can find something that works. All right, here we go. All right, so I knew how to read the word the. I gave a little check. I could read the word of. I give a little check. Make sure your parents are doing the checking, okay? Because if you say a word wrong, you're not going to know unless somebody's there to correct you, okay? So you're going to check all the words that you know. And if you make it through list one and you got almost all of them right, or you did get all of them right, then move to list two. And then read all the words for list two. And then once you get done with list two, if there are words you don't know, then make sure tomorrow, the next day, you go back and read those words to somebody, okay? Once you get done with list two and you know all of those, move to list three and keep going, okay? So you can go at your own pace. You don't have to send these back to school. You don't have to record yourself saying them. This is just to help you practice reading words to help you become a better reader, okay? And there's lots of words in here. It goes all the way up to 1,000. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of words. Now, do you have to know all these by the end of first grade? Nope. The best thing that you could do for the end of first grade is probably at least the first 100, or maybe you can work on the next 100 after that. So maybe 200 words, okay? So really work on those. Reading these words will help you become a better reader. All right, so when I'm done reading the pink pages, and I read a couple lists, or I've read through a list, now I'm going to do my fry phrases, and those are the white pages. All right, so the white pages, I'm going to grab them out. There's a note here for your parents, so make sure they read it so they know what to do. The fry phrases are all of these pink words, not all of them, but many of them, in little chunks, little phrases. So what you're going to do is you're going to flip over to the first page, and you're going to read these phrases to somebody. So this says number 2. If I can read that, I'm going to put a little check right next to it. So I already know how to read those words. If I don't, maybe I don't know how to read this word. So maybe I circle it because I go, I don't know this word, but look at this word I know is 2. Now I go to the next one, go down. Oh, I can read both of those. I give a check. And remember, you need to read these to somebody, okay? More people. I got that. I'm going to give a check. All or some. And I'm going to keep going. I can do a couple pages today. So maybe I want to read 2 pages today. Or maybe 1 was enough because it was really hard to read these words. And then the next day I'm going to try and read them again. And then the next day, I'm going to try and read them again until I can read this whole page. And when I can read this whole page, then I'm going to go to the next page. And then when I can read this whole page, I'm going to flip it over and go to the next page. Okay, so that you're going to practice your fry phrases every day. All right, so the next thing is your fluency passages. Those are the green ones that are right in the middle of your folder. And the first story is called Gus the Dog. Now, Gus the Dog is a story that you're going to read, and you're going to go through it and you're going to read it. You're going to read it to somebody at home. You can practice it on your own first. And then when you're done practicing it a few times, then you can read it to somebody at home. Now, once you can read this whole story nice and smoothly, so that means you're reading Gus is a dog. Gus can run. He can jump. Gus likes to dig. He digs in the dirt. He digs a big hole. Gus digs and digs. And once I can read this whole story without missing any words, and it's nice and smooth, and it takes me probably about 1 minute at the most, then I can move to the next story, okay? But don't move on to the next story until you can read this story really well. And if you want, you can have your parents time you every time you read it. And then you can write down, maybe at the bottom of the page, oh, the first time it took me 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I know that that's the time it took me the first time. So I'm just going to write that down here. And then maybe the next time I read it, it only took me 2 minutes. So I'm going to write down 2 minutes. See, I'm getting better. And then maybe the next time I read it, it only took me 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I'm going to keep doing that until I got to 1 minute. It only took me 1 minute to read this story. So now I'm going to go to the next story because it only took me a minute to read this whole story because I've practiced and practiced and practiced. Okay, so don't move on to the next story until you can read this story nice and smooth. And if it takes you about 1 minute or a little more, then move on to the next page. Okay, we're trying to read smoothly, and we're trying to read how we talk. We don't talk like this. So you don't want to read like that either. You want to read how you talk, nice and smoothly. All right, so now I'm done with my fluency. I read a story to somebody, they timed me. I know how long it took me. I wrote it down, and now I'm going to go to the last thing in here. The last thing in here are the blue pages. So get out your blue pages. There's a story to read, and then there's a couple of comprehension questions that go with the story. Now, comprehension questions are questions that help you see if you remember what the story is about. So I'm going to read this story, and maybe I read it by myself if it's not too hard, or maybe it's too hard and I read it to somebody so they can help me. And then when I'm done, if I want, I can read the questions to myself, or I can have an adult read them to me. And a good thing to do would be to read the questions first. So that way, when you're reading the story, you know what you're looking for. That's what good readers do. They think of strategies to help them become a better reader and to understand the story. So if you read the questions first, just the questions, and then once you're reading, and then as you read the story, you might think, oh, that was one of the questions, and you can underline it or circle it so you know where to go to find the answer. Okay, so every day you're just going to do one page. Now, if I do one page on Monday, and then I do another page on Tuesday, and then I do another page on Wednesday, that means I'm doing 3 pages a week. Now, if I want to bring this back for Mrs. Vandermolen to look at, I could just rip just this page off and bring it back. Don't rip off a page unless you've done both sides, okay? And if you want, you can bring it back into in your green folder, and then I can look at it to see how you're doing. But if you don't want to, that's okay. You can just have an adult at home check. All right, so that was the first thing on my new schedule right here. All of that in this folder, that's what you do first. Second is your green folder. Now, I don't have a green folder with me, but in your green folder, it says math pages will be in this folder each week. You receive this on Friday in your green folder. So you're going to get your green folder out and you're going to open it up. And in your green folder, there'll be 3 math pages, okay? And they're just review of what we did last week. So your review is going to be on measuring long or shortest or longest or medium, and you're going to do some of that with your math pages, okay? So that's in your green folder. You can just do one a day. Do one math page on Monday, one math page on Tuesday, and one math page on Wednesday. And if you want to stick it back in the green folder so I can look at it, and you can bring it back to me if you would like, okay? Here, we have no science for you to do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, okay? No science. But usually you'll have a science to do. Now, this week you have a social studies, and it says your activity for this assignment is in your green folder. So if you open your green folder back up, you will see 2 things that you need for your science this week. It's your lesson check, and then there's little boxes you have to cut out and set on your lesson check. If you don't have glue, which you did get glue in that orange bag that we sent home with you. So see if you can find that orange bag with the supplies in it. There were glue sticks in there. So you can glue the pictures in order of how it's supposed to go on that page, okay? After that, and you can do that on Monday, on Tuesday, or Wednesday. It doesn't matter when you do your social studies and your science. You can do one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and then you're all done and don't have to do any on Wednesday. The next thing is our class library. Mr. Music made your class library this week. It says to listen to one story, okay? So you click on this link right here, and you listen to this, pick any story. And when you're done, you get out a journal, a writing journal, or a piece of paper, okay? And it says that you're supposed to write one sentence about the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. So that's 3 sentences altogether. So write a sentence what happened in the beginning, write a sentence about what happened in the middle, and then write a sentence about what happened at the end. And then take a picture of it. Now, this is really important, so listen carefully. After you're done doing one book on Monday, you're not going to send it to me. You're going to save it as a draft. Listen, save it as a draft. Can you say that with me? Save it as a draft. So then on Tuesday, you're going to listen to a book. And then you're going to write your sentences. And then what do you think you're going to do? Save it as a draft. And then on Wednesday, you're going to pick another book. And you're going to do the same thing. Write a sentence about the beginning, the middle, and the end. And then on Wednesday, your last day at home, that's the day you're going to click the green check. So on Wednesdays, I click the green check. Say that with me. On Wednesdays, I click the green check. So you're only sending this to me on Wednesdays, okay? But you have to do one every day. Now, when you get done with these, you can go on to Freckle. I put our class code on here, and there's the link to Freckle. And then when you're done, you can go to your music, your art, and your PE on Seesaw and make sure you get those done. Maybe you don't want to do Freckle on Monday. That's okay. Maybe you want to do your art class on Monday. That would be awesome because Miss Van Drunen would love to see your artwork. Or maybe on Tuesday, you're going to do PE. Mr. Blackmere would love if you did your PE. And then maybe on Wednesday, you're going to do music because Miss Passler would love to hear you singing and listening to her music. All right, so this is going to be your new schedule. If you have any questions, your mom and dad can message me on Dojo, or on Wednesday, I will have office hours that they can come and talk to me, okay? So I really hope that you enjoy this schedule better than our last schedule, and I hope this goes a lot better for you guys, okay? And I cannot wait to see you guys on Thursday, and I hope you guys have a great Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I will see you Thursday. Bye, boys and girls.